This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm going to say this phrase, and this is a phrase myself and some friends, actually, that's our mantra. Embrace discomfort. That's it. 2 words. Embrace discomfort. Why? Because if you don't have discomfort, you don't move your life forward. The breakthroughs come from the challenges. Is it easy? Hell no. Is it planned? Usually not. But it's the crisis that ensues in your life that is the catalyst to change. And I'm going to get her opinion on this, maybe to put you on the path where you should be, but you don't realize it because we don't like change. So we keep doing what we're doing every day, rinse and repeat, the treadmill, just always on it until change comes. She is somebody that embraces astrology very deeply and also coaching, blends the two of those. And that's where the change comes too. The connection between the mind, the body, and the soul. Our professional of the year, Nancy Volante, is back with us. Thank you for being here today.
Oh my God, it's always a pleasure, Steve. It's always a pleasure to be in your presence and the presence of the audience and talking about life, talking about the human condition, right?
I so look forward to every time we get together.
I do
and
too.
We talked about the fire horse last week. Tonight, and men's group, I told you, and we do some of this stuff here. We're also leadership and community service. What am I going to be talking about? Everything Nancy said about the fire horse. I'm presenting that tonight. I'm not even kidding. It is a topic. Others are interested. That's astrology. That's the transits that are going on in Chinese astrology. But back to the change in our life, the crisis as the catalyst. Do you feel that that's where the breakthroughs happen, when those things present, and they can be very uncomfortable. They can be very painful, but that's where the change happens?
I do. And especially for this week, Steve, with the solar eclipse that we've had, which was really ruled by Uranus. And that planet is about crisis. That planet is about breakthrough. It's about, if you're not going to change and your soul, your being wants to change, however that manifests, and it's always different, that planet is going to show you the truth. And that's what Uranus does, shows you the truth of where you are. Are you suppressing the truth of who you are? And if you are, when there is a catalyst, a collision, because sometimes, I'm going to say this week, that solar eclipse with the fire horse, the Chinese New Year, that was kind of a collision. And I don't say that in a negative way, or maybe let me change that. They collided. They collided in a sense that cracked something open. So if you were on your path, God bless. If maybe you weren't, you needed something to shake you up. And some of us are shaken to the core, that brings us to a place that sometimes brings heartbreak. So, yes.
Why is it? So I always hear this phrase, and we're here to learn. And sometimes it's a lesson, and sometimes it comes at the hands of crap you got to deal with, or crisis, or surprises, or things that just show up in your life. And I always say, what do I got to learn? What do I got to learn? I don't want to learn. I just want to live and have fun. I don't even know how to continue that question.
Well, I know, because we know this is the planet of hard knocks. It truly is, because we live in duality.
What do you mean by that? I've heard that term before. How do you define we live in duality?
So we live in happy, sad.
Okay.
joyful heartbreak. Whatever the opposite is of something positive, there's something negative. During this week of great shedding, because we were shedding the skin of the snake in the 25-25, wood snake new year into the fire horse. So there was shedding. And when we shed, Steve, it's I'm going to say this, it's sometimes when we come into spiritual negate, when we like want everything to be beautiful, right? We want everything to be great. And sometimes it's just not. Sometimes we think somebody is happy and they're not because they can't express what they're feeling inside. And that's when the shadow side of ourself, all of us, whether we're in a strong space or not, it's the soul. I'm going to go this way too. It's the soul contract that we come in with. How are we going to deal with the breakthroughs? But really, what the breakthrough is the breakdown.
Ooh, I got to write that one
Write it down,
down.
Steve. I'm going to write it down too.
um, mm, okay. So a
Yeah.
couple of thoughts there.
Yeah.
Um, duality.
Yeah.
We have to do it because how do you know what happiness and joy is if you didn't experience sadness and sorrow? So
Well, that's it.
I
Yeah.
get that it is, it is what it is. Um, but the breakthroughs through the breakdowns, um, I wrestle with that one. Like, why can't it just be easier? Or does it come back to the fundamentals of evolution? We are wired to stay safe. That's it. From cave person time. Before that, even everything we do is to stay safe. We're still here. I got to believe that's part of the reason why. What is safe? Don't change. Keep it the way it is. May not be perfect. Stay in that bad relationship. I know, it's not good, but I'm going to stick with it. Grass is always, maybe not on the other side, and we do it, but then there's no breakthrough. It may be
No.
okay, but you may never know the other side of it until there is a breakdown, right?
Yeah. I love the way that you put that because, we all do want to stay safe. And I think part of that staying safe is if I'm myself, am I going to be accepted? If I really tell you what I am and what I want, excuse me, and who I am, are you still going to love me? Are you still going to be the same person, even though I might be different than you thought I was?
There's a whole other aspect of that. You just opened the door to.
Oh,
It really is.
I
There
know.
is people, many have an aversion to success, a fear of success. There's a fear of failure. That's kind of self explanatory. Who would be afraid of success? Bring it on, more money, stature, blah, 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 all of that. There's fear of, well, now I might be able to buy that sports car. I might be able to change that house. I might be this, might be that. Will people still feel the same about me? Will they still love me? Will they still accept me in our circle? And we derail that success without even knowing it because we have that fear of it.
Exactly. And the other question is, it's so beautiful. Am I worthy of this success?
Then there's that.
And then there's that.
Then there's that.
Am I worth? So it's where we are in our stories, in our past traumas that we've brought in with us, if you believe in past lives, that we've brought in, that we've carried with us. And if we don't have the outlets or the strength, the internal strength to express that, we start suppressing it. And when the nervous system gets suppressed as you're saying, we want to be safe, then we put ourselves in flight or fight. Now I'm coming into a coaching aspect of the
Hmm.
body.
Hmm.
So when Uranus is like, you know what? You're not doing the thing. I'm looking at the chart and I'm seeing what you can be, and it's not happening. And, now we've got these aspects. We're talking to each other here, and it erupts.
Mm.
And where are you when the eruption happens? Are you aligned? Because when we are aligned, so to speak, we can more or less handle the duality of life. Oh, I'm going to feel sad about this. I don't really feel comfortable about this, or the ego says, okay, it's time. I don't really care if you like me or not. That could be a healthy ego, you know, or do you abandon yourself?
Okay, when you say abandon yourself, I see that in two ways, and a different way most recently, well, recent last couple of years. How do you mean it?
So, do you abandon the whispers of your soul, so to speak? Do you abandon what you're feeling, what the insights, what your intuition, what your imagination, which is what you connect with something bigger than yourself, whether it's spirit, God, universe, whatever that that symbol is for you? Are you listening to that? Can you listen to it without feeling that you're not worthy?
So, would you say this is your vision of that? We we have the answers. We already know everything that we want, everything that we need, the path to success, or at least getting on the highway to get there. It's all in us. But this life gets in the way, and you're a kid. It's my belief that we're exactly the way we need to be when we're first born. We're fresh. We're not jaded. We haven't seen even up to the age of 3, and that changes. That could change you radically just based on things you hear and see, interaction parents and things like that. But later in life, we let well, not that we let, they just happen subconsciously, and we're not really who we are, but we hear those things within. Don't stay in this relationship. It doesn't support you. That job, you deserve more. Go for something else. I don't want to rock the boat. I don't want to do it. But ultimately, you are not being authentic to yourself. You're not honoring yourself. I understand why. I'm guilty of it. I do all the time.
And I do too. And we all do. And I think that's part of being human. And I think that's part of the self-talk. Can we manage that self-talk inside to a place where we can bring it to some kind of alignment. Now, let me just transition back into astrology again.
Mm.
So, with what you just said, I would look to where your Mercury is. I would look to where your Mars is. And Mercury is, how do I communicate? How do I learn about myself in order to process my feelings? Okay. Then we look at the moon to see how you process your feelings. But then we're looking at Mars. Is Mars in a weaker position in your chart that you have to pull somewhere else to get strength? Because Mars is your drive, your will, your passion.
Mm.
For instance, if you had Mars in Pisces, that is not the best place for Mars because, Pisces is like very fluid and wants to be artistic and very spiritual. And Mars is like, I can't deal with this shit. I just want to move forward. I
Mm.
just want to go for it. So there's something that is quite beautiful about that because it could be very artistic, but very embodying. But it's how do you deal with that energy? So to me, it's all about energetics in a sense. How do we deal with energy in our body? How do we talk to it? How do we move with it? How do we process it? And those are the things that you can look at. I mean, there's some people that, you know, because we all have a shadow. We can all get into the dark night of the soul that I think we've talked about before. The dark night of the soul is when you are down in the lowest part of yourself And the journey of that dark night of the soul is to climb back up, bring with you what you've learned, what you can transform, and come back into the light of your consciousness and soul. Some people get stuck in that dark night of the soul, and that's where we have our mental illness, possibly. That's where we have the trouble of, I can't do this. I can't change it. So what are my choices?
Certainly have you look at somebody's chart to give them reference points and maybe some direction. It's happened for me, and you have amazing memory. Like, you work with so many people, but then you remember, oh, by the way, Steve, yeah, Mercury is here for you in this house. I don't know anything about that. I just skim the surface. I just listen to you for the insight. But let's say you're in a situation, and I'm going relationship because it happens a lot.
That's great. Yeah.
You're in a relationship. There's some good. There's some, I don't want to say not good, but just not fully aligning with what you are. And you're in it and you're doing it, whatever. How do you make that decision to move out of it? Is it you listen within, and if that, it keeps gnawing at you, hello, this isn't right. You deserve better. Move on. Oh, but exactly. I can't, but I'm with somebody now, but then, I won't, I could be alone or whatever comes up in your mind. How do you find the answer? Or is it you're just hearing it all the time and you need to listen to it? Should you ask? Moment of silence, quietness, and just say, all right, what should I do? And that's could be a job, could be any kind of situation.
Yeah.
How do you navigate that?
Whew. And I think those are the hardest things in life to navigate, because again, can I reach out for support? Can I reach out to talk to somebody when I can't decipher what is the reality of what I should do and what is the non-reality what I should do? What am I doing to keep myself stagnant? And this is, Steve, the hardest part of my job, of all of our jobs in the evolution of the soul, is how do we make the right decisions, or right, wrong, even forget about that. How do we make the decisions that leave us content, that leave us with a sense of, I'm okay. That's just what I keep on coming back with. And this week, I've really thought about that a lot, because we've been pushed this week with Saturn and Neptune moving into Aries. And, that is a big push. That's an acceleration. That's a push into the body of, yes, it's time to make those decisions. Can you? You have to make a choice. We are at a fork in the road, collectively and individually. And I think that when people become, I'm not a therapist, I'm a human being that does coaching and astrology, but I think that when people come to a choice point in their life, do I go this way? Do I go that way? The fear starts to grip in. And what does fear do to us? It
cripples.
It cripples.
Yeah. I believe
it cripples.
Work in progress, but I believe that if whatever inside of you is speaking to you about a situation and won't shut the blank up, that's the answer. You can't deny it. When it keeps saying, in these, moments, your boss walks in and, he says something and then he walks out and you think, I'm not supposed to be here. This is not it, but I got a paycheck and I got, I'm not saying quit the job tomorrow, but maybe start taking steps. Now is the time to do it. It's funny. I've referred to this song many times before, and it's come up in my life in the last year. Let It Grow, Eric Clapton. And it's just what you said. And it starts out with,
it's a great song.
It's crossroads. That's what it says at the beginning, staring at the crossroads, trying to read the sign. That's the first words from it. And there it is. Why is now the time? Why is now the time, Nancy, to pick a direction?
Yeah. Because with that Neptune and that Saturn going in now in Aries at 0 degrees, Steve, this is a new era. We haven't experienced this. And this conjunction that's going to happen tomorrow. We haven't experienced this and that conjunction in thousands of years. I mean, this is an opportunity for us all. And it's not, I'm not saying if you don't make it like tomorrow. No, it's a work in progress. Like you just said, it's a work in progress. That Neptune in Aries is going to be there for 14 years. Saturn will be in Aries for 2.5 years. We have time. But the time is asking us, Saturn is asking us, you need to maybe build a new foundation. If this is not authentic and this is not real, Aries doesn't really want to deal with it. And Neptune doesn't want to be in the illusion of the imagination where it's like, I don't have any boundaries, so I just want to do what I want to do. No, it's Aries, it's embodiment. Aries, and I'm getting really jazzed up here because Aries is the warrior, it's the protector. And that fire horse is going to help us ride through. Those two things are together right there is like, yow.
As you're talking, I am hearing this and I'm getting angst where you say, well, we have time. I'm not waiting.
I'm not either.
I'm not waiting. I'm at that point where it's like BS. I'm not, 14 years, whatever it may be. Can you tell me what's going to happen tomorrow? Will we be here? I don't know.
I don't know.
So why you want to wait? And me personally, and I don't know where again, you tell me my transit, I always forget. I don't know. But I can tell you with certainty, at least in my heart, I feel like a caged animal. It's time for change. Let's go. Let's go.
I know that your Pisces is at the top of, it's at your midheaven. I do remember that. And so Neptune and Saturn for the last 14 years has been working that midheaven, has been like, who are you spiritually? Like, what is your, and now that I would suspect that's moving, Aries must be around your 10th house. I'm going to look. You are. It's go time for you, Steve. And this Mercury retrograde, I have to bring it up for you because you love Mercury retrograde.
I don't know that. I love it. I find interest in it.
I know you do.
And that's I watch it.
Yeah, and that's in Pisces. So that Mercury retrograde will be at the top of your chart until I think it was March 20th. That's when it ends. And boy, you're going to be like, because that Neptune just left Pisces going into Aries. Now it's just going to, let's get the Mercury, that Mercury retrograde. How are we going to communicate now? And we're going to communicate differently, possibly.
Important question. They're all important questions. Everything you're saying is important. I just had a thought. You say, this has been brewing now for 14 years. It's, going back here and everything. Could we go back 14 years right now within a range, within a year, and look at what was going on? So guess what? I did. Just as we're talking in my mind, I'm like, no, go back. Something happened 14 years ago in my life. Yeah. Pinnacle or clue to what was coming future and more. Coincidence or not? I don't think so.
Synchronicity. And again, it's like we've said before, it's weaving together. All these threads are weaving together to create your unique basket of life. What are you going to hold in that basket? When Little Red Riding Hood's in the wood with her basket and everything, right? It's like, oh, she's picking, she's throwing, she's doing, it's, I don't know, that just came to my mind. It's like, have this basket, you pick, you throw, you let go, you don't keep.
I love that analogy, Nancy. I think it's beautifully said because your basket of life, who's coming with you? Who's in your basket? Who are these
Yeah.
people? That's just part of it. That
Yeah.
could also be, well, I have this person in the basket and they really don't support my life the way it is now based on these transits and my, what I'm experiencing. Maybe I need to move them out of the basket. I'm not going to just throw that away, but they're not always going to be with me in the basket.
Right.
And some of the other things, the thoughts, the desires, the dreams are in that basket as well. Everything. That's your basket of life,
Yes.
the basket of life.
I love it. And if you carry all that, excuse me, shit with you, it's going to get heavy, right? And that's when we get dragged down. It's like,
Mm,
I can't walk anymore. I'm so fatigued. I'm so
yeah.
drained. That's the
Yeah.
nervous system saying, we got to lighten up.
Yeah.
We got to, and this breakthrough potential, if I was coaching, it's about radical honesty.
Mm.
Yeah.
And with that comes authenticity.
Yes.
And when you're not. You can feel it going, if somebody says something to you, asks you to do something. So when you have some people pleasers and all of that, oh yeah, I'll be there on Saturday. Yeah, sure. And then, you get off the phone, you're like, what the hell did I just do? This is not what I want to do. This is not where I want my life to go. But I figured I'd say yes. It's that stuff you need to get out of the basket.
It's so interesting that you say that too, people pleaser. I don't know why your charts just like lighten up in my brain today. So your moon is in Libra. I mean, I could be wrong. I'm going to check after. I have a moon in Libra too. So do you.
Wow.
And so we know about that.
People pleasing?
I know about that. It's like, I think I'll just, I'll agree with that. And then I get so pissed off after. It's like, I don't agree with that.
No. And there's, guess
Shit.
what? There's reasons for that. And it will go back,
Yeah.
in my belief, to our childhoods.
Yeah.
Why we feel we need to do that. But
Oh,
we're
yeah.
not alone. There's so many people pleasers. Nancy, you're amazing. I have to keep going. I don't even want to stop. There's so many things that come up here, analogies, understanding and such.
Whew.
You are available, astrology, coaching, both, thewhisperingsoul.net.
That's right.
Your soul is whispering.
Everybody's soul is whispering. And I tell you, Steve, I love working with people. I'm here to listen. I'm here to support. And, I'm not a pushover. I've learned from that moon in Libra that I'm going to be honest too. I'm honest when I'm working with people with a chart, but I'm gently honest.
As we need to be with ourselves.
Yeah, you said that right.
Thank you so much.
Oh my God. Thank you, Steve. This is always so healing for me and such a pleasure.
Same.
Thank
And it validation, understanding all of this. This is the secret life, as they say. Fundamentally, listen. Like that song by Roxette in the 90s, listen to your heart. The answer's there. You got it. All right. We'll catch up soon, okay?
We'll catch up soon. Thank you
Appreciate
so
it.
much.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.